What's going on? Welcome to another edition of Hustlers Kung Fu Live, where we build businesses. Today, we're going to be talking about the process of making money from scratch. That's right. We'll be talking about the whole process because I've been going over a few things and I've been looking at a few things. And one of my best videos was about this government stimulus money. And that was honestly, it was a little disappointing because I've been talking about making money, building businesses for years. And the best video, the most recent video that's done really well was talking about getting some free money from the government. And that was just a little, it just stung a little bit because I was sitting there like, really? Good Lord. So I've come to a new determination. I'm going to change up how I'm doing stuff. I'm getting into a lot of foundational educational stuff for the people who are ready to make those moves because I'm like that video, about the government stimulus, it's still going. I'm just like, it's not that much money. It's not that much money. I'm like, 3,400 bucks if you have a family of four. It ain't that much money. And I know there are many people who feel that this is going to be very temporary. We're going to rebound. This is the talk. All right. The economic indicators. Like 40% of New Yorkers are not going to be able to pay their rent this month. 40%. 40%. That's cataclysmic. It is going to get worse, and I'm not being a fearmonger. I'm being a realist. And there are many people who do not like the reality of life until it spanks them. And a lot of people about to get spanked. I feel that I've done my duty here. I feel that I have done a lot. And for the people who have listened to the advice, you guys are sitting pretty because I see it in the comments. I got my money saved. I'm out of debt. You guys are good to go. For the folks who've just been listening and not taking action, I don't know what to. I don't know what to do. I mean, yeah, you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink. It's one of the craziest things. So, with that, let's get into our sponsor, which is hustlerskungfulifeskills.com. In keeping with what I'm just talking about, I'm creating a new course, and this is going to have live webinars and all this other stuff. I'll be sending out information on it. The Making Money course, the setup and foundation. I was just thinking that so many people don't understand how to make money. And it's part of the esoteric with the subconscious mind, and it's part of action and beliefs. There's a lot to it because literally I have figured out how to make money from scratch. And this is why I have the opinions that I do about Bitcoin and Amazon FBA. I see all of these people getting into these template or platform business models because they don't understand how powerful they could be if they were to create their own product, service, and put it out there. And there's so much money to be made. There's so much money to be made for people. But I'm beginning to understand, based upon the response to the free money video, how many people are in very economically fragile positions. And what I want to do is to create some systems and beliefs to help people move out of that position because many, many years ago, I was in that position like you. I mean, I was living in a boarding house during the dot-com boom. There was jobs everywhere. It's just I didn't have the right information. I didn't have the right training. I didn't have the right mentors. And that's why I was in that bad situation. And that's why many of you are in that bad situation. So the Making Money course, the Supplement Foundation. And if you're a member of B School for Hustlers and you bought the complete package, you're getting this course free. I already sent out the email. I already sent you the link. You can sign up. So we got that handled. I'm a little on top of it today because I want people to get this knowledge. And this is $150 beta pricing. There's nothing there yet. There will be something there within a day or so. And once then, that price will probably change. So you want to go ahead and act now and get in now because this is probably going to be one of the best courses I ever created. And it's going to get into the foundational stuff that people need to change behavior and to begin acting in a different manner. So the link is below for those folks, $150 beta pricing. Get in there before I raise the price. And let's get into this wonderful bean footage. Today, we're going to talk about how to make money from scratch. We're going to get into a lot of stuff. So one of the first things that we should look at, and let me go through the comments real quick. What's up, people? Hollywood Prep, I know, man. Yeah, they're beyond broke. Good morning. Gar Spitter, Uncle G, thanks to your advice, I got out of debt and paid my house some months in advance just in time because I got laid off yesterday. I feel confident I won't just survive, but I'll thrive. Gar Spitter, congratulations to you for taking action. Congratulations for listening to the advice because I love getting these type of messages and emails from people. Hey, Glendon, I listened to you. I took advice and then this thing happened and I'm so glad I listened to you. So, congratulations, man. Congratulations. Elder just got laid off from car sales. Happy I've been listening to you since I was a kid. I have a nice emergency fund set aside with rental income coming in. Thank you so much. Elder Tony Williams, once again, another person who listened. Another person who listened. Oh, man. See, like I said, I didn't even see those comments when I put up the first part. But the people who listened and took action, you're not going to be out here naked in the streets. Once again, thank you. I appreciate that, Elder. Just counted over 8K as pocket money. We're hoarding cash over here. All right, hoard that cash, hoard that cash, hoard that cash. See, this is one of the things that I love is hearing from people who have taken advantage of the advice, because I'm about to give you some steps here. Because I was having this conversation with a friend years ago, and we were just talking about my business, and he used some terms. He said, what you do is organic. You create your own products, you create your own economy. And he was just so impressed with that. And I was just like, it's just what I do. And this morning I woke up and I realized that it's just more than what I do. It's a process. It's a sequence of things that you have to do. And the first thing is the mindset. The first thing is the mindset. Here on YouTube, we have many, many people who talk crap about people who create courses. They're all scams. They're not trying to help anyone. Blah, 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 blah. You have YouTubers it's like, hey, I'm just not trying to sell you a course or nothing like this. And here is that mindset will have you leaving money on the table. Because I'm going to give you an example. There's this one YouTuber. He was like, I'm not trying to sell you a course and all this other stuff. And he doesn't realize that he's literally leaving $1 million to $2 on the table because he has the wrong mindset. Regardless of what all these people who say about courses are scams and all this other stuff, online course sales will be going on forever. They're not going to disappear. They're not going to go away. They may change, they may morph, but they're not going anywhere. So you got a whole bunch of people out here who are leaving money on the table because they have the wrong mindset. Let me give you an example. Here, let me show you something. All right. So I'm gonna give you a little, because I know this dude had the proper mindset from jump. All right. Now, this guy's in a relationship with both of these women. Notice that they're both taller than he is. They're both taller than he is. He's having sex with both of these women who are both taller than he is. Now, this is where you can really see it. I mean, she's a good 3 inches taller than he is. I think she's a good 3 inches taller than he is. How many men, short men, have a problem with approaching women who are taller than they are? Most short men have a problem with it because they have the wrong mindset. But this dude is not in a relationship with just one woman that's taller than he is. He's in a relationship and having sex with two women. Why? Because of his mindset. He has a totally different mindset. Just listening, check it out. Totally different mindset. So the first thing to making money from scratch is you got to have the right mindset. You can't kind of sort of have the mindset. You got to have the correct mindset from the beginning. That is a critical part of moving there. And this is something else too I've noticed. Like when I do these foundational instructional videos teaching you like the environment is good for getting rich and how to make money from scratch, I don't get a lot of people because I'm going to rebuild the channel, because I'm building the channel on top of the channel, because I got a lot of folks here who are not really interested in building anything. They're just not. I mean, it's sad. It's sad at times, but they're not interested in building anything. Been the bartender, laid off last week, still has 2 checks coming in. Thanks to you, have money already stashed. That's the third person on this live stream who listened and they got money stashed. Congrats to you, Ben. Steve Chambers, some people out here holding Bitcoin while I'm out here holding cash. Leo, people think online courses are scams, but unwilling to give up to $60,000 to universities with no guarantee that they'll get a job in their major. Pretty much. Steven, hey, that's cool. See what people were marketing. The stuff Glendon looks for in the day. Hey, we're talking about mindset. Cody Thompson, all right. Name and friendly, just FYI, medical professionals are getting laid off too. I got a notice today. Because see, there are many people who do not want to confront the reality. I have looked at the economic data, and it's like reading tea leaves of future doom. I've looked at the data and I'm just sitting there like, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse because this recession, it's baked in. Last month, we had over 3.2 million dollar, 3.2 million people file for unemployment. That stat alone created a recession. That alone, not the other indicators that are coming. And Trump extended the guidelines to the end of April. So we're going to have even lower economic output this month. That's 2 consecutive quarters of lower economic output, hence the technical term of a recession. Well, also, I got a new stat today. 40% of New Yorkers can't pay their rent. 40%. This is going to get much worse. This ain't going to get better no time soon. All right, Paul Brown. Good man, good man. All right, Jeffrey. Killer B 10K emergency fund. Congratulations. Erwin Baldwin, if I get laid off, I have enough cash to be with income for more than 20 months. Congratulations. Miss Finance and Emergency Fund is cash. Ernie, good man, good man. Paul Brown, this is what I'm talking. Many people are already struggling. This is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. All right, so the first thing we talked about was mindset. Now, the second thing is you've got to learn how to create an environment. You must learn how to create environments that support what you're trying to do, because this is where we're got to get into the power of the subconscious mind. When you are born, your parents program you. Everything you get from just watching what they do. This is how the programming starts. So many people have bad programming. So they have subconscious behaviors that keep them from being successful because of the bad programming. They'll continue to repeat the path, because this is why if you were born poor, the chances of you dying poor are incredibly high. They're incredibly high. So you have that situation. And we're going to get into reprogramming you, because many of you are unaware that you are programmed. Because the first year, from 1 to 7, your parents program you. Then 7 on up, you get programmed through repetition. And if you don't know how to mitigate and reset your programming, you're going to be doomed to continue to do the same things that you were programmed to do, even if they don't benefit you. You can be conscious of this behavior that, hey, this isn't getting me where I want to be. Doing this isn't really in my best interest. And it's not gonna work out. It's just not gonna work out. So you must learn, because we're going to get into this in the course, and we're going to be talking about things that you need to do. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts of programming, because when I was in that boarding house, I reprogrammed myself. And once I started to reprogram myself, that's when I started to see a path of success. But until I reprogrammed myself, I was doing the same things. Like, give you an example. How many of you, if you need to make more money, you're going to get an extra job? That's programming. Like me, this is like, I want to get into real estate. So what I did, because I'll tell you what a program person does, and I'm going to tell you what a person who has reprogrammed themselves does. Like, I used to be deep into getting second jobs, working OT, and that was my programming. I grew up in the South, Southern boy, and that's what I did. I worked as many hours as I could. I actually was very proud of this at the time, Not so much now that I know better, but I was proud that I worked 7 days a week for 2 years straight, didn't miss a day. And that was my programming. Now I want to get in real estate. So what do I do for real estate? I created new courses, new online platforms, because all that money from B School and Disruptive Mail, that goes into an account for the real estate. It's way more money than I would get if I got a second job. So it's a whole different ball game because my mindset is if I want something, my first thought is how can I create value to get what I want? That was a big reprogram moment for me because I was out here trading labor for time and dollars. And then when I reprogrammed myself and I learned a lot at Rent-A-Crate, I learned a lot at Panel Systems, I learned a lot at business environments, and I started to see value and positioning and proximity. But if you got bad programming, it's going to be hard for you to create an environment that supports your success. Extraordinary money. There's actually 20 million millionaires in the world, and most of them are not from Bitcoin. It's about context because he came at you about, hey, how many billionaires is Bitcoin making? And the fact is, it ain't that many. It's just not that many. Y'all need to let this Bitcoin thing go because what Bitcoin has programmed you that if you can buy it cheap enough and hold on and it go to the moon, you can get rich without doing nothing. Let that go. Killer B, I think there is going to be a depression. Ben, it's crazy. Tech Nine, many New Yorkers will move after this. Absolutely, Tim A. So a big part of it is you've got to reprogram yourself and get into creating an environment that supports your success. Because let's talk about environments. Let's say you're a regular person, and the environments include personal decisions and financial stuff. When I created this, I didn't have a car payment, I didn't have a credit card payment, I had no debt whatsoever. So that gave me an environment which I could operate and experiment and try and do new different things. So that helped me tremendously because I understood from my first moment, because I think for me the pivotal moment was when I created GC Solutions and I did the work for JDA. That created a different paradigm for me, and it created a different outlook for my whole life. I began to seek opportunities that were based upon value versus, you know, give me that money. Because, I didn't make any money from JDA until I actually did something. I actually brought them a customer that bought their furniture. And that's how I made money. And it was an eye-opening experience. But if I had been the same dude with the same programming, I wouldn't have recognized what I was doing. Christopher Lies, once you begin to reprogram yourself and you start to get action, you start to get results, your friends, your current friends will do two things. Some will take note and moderate their behavior, and some will just become haters. So that's what's going to happen with that. I know, Kevin. Some gig economies working is booming. Not all of them. Killer B, I meet people every week moving from Cali to Texas. Michael Dennis, Bitcoin is controlled by 1 to 6 men. They control it all, resulting in small investors essentially gambling at high risk, equivalent to playing the high stakes at the table in a casino. That reminds me, Michael Dennis. Like this one person was like, "Well, the reason Bitcoin price went down is because one whale sold this Bitcoin." I was like, "You got that much faith that one person can make a decision and crash your value?" I mean, it is crazy. Leon Marcus, we're going to have this is a global reset. You know, this might be the thing to bring manufacturing back to America. Seriously, because this like let me go ahead and give you the playbook. We had what happened March last month. That's the history. This month is going to tell the tale because this month we're going to either peak or we're going to peak this month or we're going to peak in May with this pandemic. And then if we don't peak in April and then we start to peak in May, guess what? Another 30 days of guidelines. Another 30 days. So be very aware of what's happening with the pandemic and infection rates because if they don't peak in April, they're going to peak in May. And if they peak in May, that's going to be 90 days on lockdown. Many businesses, many small businesses that don't have, because here's the thing, many businesses, everyone just kind of got drunk on cheap credit, easy money, and many people got away from foundational stuff. You must put away some money for a rainy day. Many companies have not done that. It's like, well, if we need to do something, we're going to get a loan. If we need to do something, we're going to get a credit extension. Many of these companies don't have cash. Now, Apple is sitting on 207 billion cash. I'm quite sure Google's sitting on a bunch of cash. I'm sure Facebook's sitting on a bunch of cash. These companies are going to be fine. But a lot of these little mom and pops, they about to go out of business. It's about to be over. And this is going to be a global reset, and it's going to be a reset here in the United States. All right, Mark, what law is this that wiped out 42,000 in student loans? W. Shaw, what is your recommendation hustle for this time? W. Shaw, you want to take this course because many people's like, should I do X, Y, and Z? That is not the best thinking because there are going to be so many businesses that are going to thrive and survive this thing. It's unreal. And a lot of them are not sexy because everyone's going to go for the Amazon FBA or Shopify drop shipping. One of the things I noticed with the Shopify drop shipping channels is all these guys do these challenges like, hey, I'm going to try day trading for a week and I'm going to report back the results. I'm going to try marketing on TikTok. I'm going to report the results. None of these guys are talking about long-term sustainable businesses. Anyone can get lucky and anyone can hit a lick here and there. I am talking about long-term, long money, sustainable business models. And this is one of the reasons that the channel is changing because like I said, when I dug into the analytics and I was like, that was my best performing video, a video talking about the government going to give out free money. I was like, man, I gotta redo this channel. I gotta reset this channel. I gotta start all anew. And that's what I'm doing because I mean, I understand that there are many people in dire need who need help, but I really want you guys to be like me, like government check, big whoop. I don't need that. I want more people saying that versus, hey, I'm gonna get this free money. I'm gonna get this free government money. I want you to be living so well that that doesn't impress you. You don't want to do that. Pretty much, Jabras. I think it's going to bring manufacturing back. I know, Kevin Davis. That's one of my worries. House apartment clean off will take off. Yeah, because there could be a second cycle. But the third thing you need to get into is doing the work. And this is a big issue. A lot of people don't want to do the work. Like take an online course. I've seen people. I saw a guy leave a really bad review for an online course that I took, and this is how you should take online courses. You should have a first pass, a second pass, a third pass, a fourth pass, and sometimes a fifth pass. You should go from the start through the course 3 to 5 times, and that's going to work for you. Um, this person left a review and everything, and I could just tell because some stuff in his review was in the course, but that clearly he skipped over that module. And many people will feel that they can buy a course, and the course is going to do the work. Kind of like many people who feel that they get a college degree, that the degree is going to go out and get them a job. And I was just like, that was not so true. It was just horrible. And a lot of people don't want to do the work. A lot of people are incapable of doing the work. So this is another big part about how to create money from scratch. Like, let's talk about my favorite pest, Greg Murray. Greg Murray's all over what I'm doing. I'm running tests, I'm running experiments, I'm doing all kinds of stuff. And he's sitting by like, well, if you were like the man, you wouldn't have to do all of that. And this fool doesn't understand I am the man because I do all of that. I've learned from years and years of being on YouTube and creating courses that you got to test stuff out. You got to put stuff out. You got to talk to people. And sometimes you're going to put something together and it's just not going to work. It just ain't going to work. This is just facts. It's just not going to work. And one of the big things that people don't seem to understand is testing is a critical part of success. And this fool is all over. He's like watching everything I do because he's trying to learn something for free. But Greg, you'll never be me. You will never be me. Tech Nine, inflation is going to be the last of the worries. We're going to have deflation because there are going to be so many people without jobs and the economy is going to start stalling. Inflation, we don't even worry about that right now. That ain't going to happen for a minute. Coach Carroll, he tried to friend me on Facebook. W. Shaw, this is my first time seeing you. Well, go ahead and take the little dot on this stream and go back to the beginning of the stream because I get into all of that. Levi Reed, I'm going to disagree with you because hardcore capitalists are in China and they saw what happened in China. I think this is going to bring it some of it back. You, this ain't the Matrix. Tech Nine, New York and LA are letting out prisoners right now due to the more people into society without work. They're letting prisoners out? I didn't know that. That's crazy. But then again, I can see why they would let them out because what do you have in a prison? You have a bunch of people in stacked on top of each other in very little in a confined space. So I can see why they're making those moves. All right. Another part of making money from scratch is opening yourself up to growth. And one of the things that I want you to understand the transformation that I went through from being a storage auction dude to being an online creator and a content creator. It was a big, big mental shift. I had to grow so much because I was very much like these cheap resellers. I could not literally go into a department store and buy a shirt because I would compare and contrast the price of that shirt to, well, I could spend $10 on a unit and get a whole new wardrobe. I'm not going to spend 80, 90, $100 for one shirt. That's crazy. I had to go through that transformation, and then that transformation was growth because you're going to have to grow because if you were living the life that you wanted and you had everything you wanted, you would be that person. And since you don't have what you want, you're not that person. You're going to have to grow. You're going to have to look at things totally differently. You're going to have a greater understanding of what you are about and what value you bring to the world. Liam Marcus Cherry, I don't know about that. I think many people are going to become entrepreneurs because I've already started to see the videos of people who've gotten laid off. And like this one girl, she looked like she wanted to cry. She's up in New York. This is just the beginning of these kind of videos because there will be more layoffs for the month of April. There will be more unemployment filings. And from a character standpoint, because many people are in a situation where, it's funny how employees who will cheat on time, will do everything, all of a sudden will want the employer to be a stand up guy when they have not been a stand up employee. And it's kind of crazy what's going to happen because looking at the economic data, these economically fragile companies are going to be laying off people, closing doors, and filing bankruptcy. This is coming. And what I've seen, because, like with the Cheesecake Factory, um, 300 stores, and they're like, we can't pay rent for any one of them. That just says to me that they have no reserves because it could be a strategic play to get over because the economy's so bad but at the end of the day, you still got to pay that rent. So what are you gaining by not paying rent and working out some kind of deal with these landlords? I don't know what you're gaining because at some point, the landlords who are also leveraged, many of these landlords have bills to pay. And then the landlord's going to have to go to the institution that they got the money from and try to work out some type of deal with them. It's going to be, it's crazy. You will see the strong companies versus the weak companies during this period. You will see so many crazy things during this period. They're releasing people from prison. That's crazy. Kevin, I know China tried to start stuff, had to shut it best down. God is Noel. Uh huh. Tech now, they're even letting out violent offenders now. It was non-violent at first, but now violent offenders are being released. Nobody's really talking about it. Mr. Big, my neighbor is a manager at a local business. He said they lost 8% in profits, and they haven't actually let anyone go yet. But I warn him to be prepared for it. V. I wonder. Yeah, because this is what I'm waiting on. I think there's going to be real estate on fire sale, and that's not go. Right now, in the next month, stuff's going to start to go on sale, and then the month after that, or the month after that, it's going to be on clearance because you're going to see that the principles that I talked about. I've had many people talking smack about me telling people to cash up, and it's like, Glenn gonna get some people burned talking about cash, no crypto, no gold. Crypto gold, unless you got a whole bunch. And this fool, he's like, if I sold my gold, I would have $2,000 to $3,000. I got $2,000 to $3,000 cash laying around my house. That ain't no money. But yeah, there's gonna be some deals. Yeah, New Orleans is real bad. Facts: guards and inmates have the virus in New York prisons. Simon Properties, largest mall owner in America, Cheesecake Factory is a major tenant. It's a strategy to pay less rent nationally. I, I really, because it would be them trying to renegotiate rents, but they said they ain't gonna pay any rents. I honestly don't think they have the money because I know that because even if you got your rent lowered and you renegotiate your contract, you still gotta pay. We will see what happens in the future. My own business isn't even breaking even. I got work lined up, but it's all postponed until this quarantine is over. I'm in the red for now, and that's just taught me to diversify. Hey, really, Italy's gonna sue China. Mr. Big, most people weren't prepared for this. There was a story of people who went to a funeral in Alabama, and like 36 people who went to that funeral have the bug, and 24 have died. So this you're gonna like when it starts getting into the South with, let's just call it what it is. It gets into Trump country. That's when you're gonna really see some craziness. Electing mine 3 months or sooner. July is typically the slowest time of the summer for real estate market. Clearance should be in full effect. Well, one of the things that's going to be on clearance is all of these people who have these Airbnb properties that they have mortgages on. Right now, they're making no money. Most anyone can deal with 1 month of hardship. Two, I estimate that most of them 3 months of hardship is going to literally take them out. 3 months, but we will see. All right, so there's opening yourself up for growth, and then there's also scaling up the business because the way I'm gonna put this course together, we're going to talk about you and things you have to do, and the first part is going to be about the mindset because that reprogramming is so pervasive. The programming that you got, I mean, it is. I've talked about this, but I've never really gone into the depth that I'm going to go into this course. I mean, it is so much because essentially, let's take George Bush, the one who wasn't supposed to be that smart. George Bush still became a millionaire. The programming is that you can be a really smart person that grows up in a poor family, and that poor programming will keep you smart, even keep you poor, even though you're smart. And you can be an idiot, and you can have the right kind of programming from a rich family and still be wealthy. Jesse Baldo, I invested in crypto as a hedge against the economy and a safe haven against traditional investment. That was an absolute fail during this pandemic. Terrible disappointment. I keep telling you, leave this crypto alone. He's freaking out internally. God, the Simon Property Group furloughed 30% of their workforce the other day, so they're already feeling the burn because they're not going to get paid rent. Their cash flow is about to be seriously disrupted. And JB Well, thanks for $5 super chat. Realtors on Reddit are in full denial mode and pumping the market still. I bet behind closed doors they're crapping their pants. Well, I was watching a video of a guy who's a real estate guy, and he's like, I don't think it's going to get that bad. This is the internal hope that it doesn't get as bad as we think it's going to get. This is hope. This is denial. I actually posted because my other channel's in the personal finance space, and there's this she's an older woman. It's called Investing with Rose, and she actually pointed. She's with me. She's like, the recession is coming. There's going to be layoffs. There's going to be companies that are going to be closing, and she just gave a very mature, very realistic review on what's happening. Because a lot of the people in the personal finance space, they're in denial. They're like, the stock market's going to crash again. Because once these indicators, these economic indicators filter into the market and they hit the balance sheets, that the stock prices are going to crash on a lot of companies. It's just facts. And I'm just there like, go ahead, keep putting money in there, keep putting money in the stock market, keep putting money in the stock market. And you literally have people out here who don't have an emergency fund. Because essentially, I got a video on Savage Finance. You should have a long-term emergency fund and a short-term emergency fund. You should have a short-term emergency fund of $5,000 to handle little stuff. And then you should have your long-term emergency fund, which should be, if you make $50,000, that means you need $25,000 in the bank to have 6 months living expenses. These be facts. So cut your income in half, and that's your long-term emergency fund, and then you should have a short-term emergency fund. And most people can get these things funded if they would put money away. But most folks just out here partying. Airbnb has set up a $250 million fund to help, but wow. Now, extraordinary money, you said a key word, learn to trade. This isn't the time to get into the market if you don't know anything. And, this is the time, if you want to get in the stock market, for you to be reading stock market books. This is the time for you to be skilling up before you invest your money. You should do paper trading first. Pet adoption is through the roof. The pet industry is great right now for someone that needs to start a business. Rugged collars, these people at home by themselves, they want a little pet to keep them company. Killer Bee, here's what's happening with many of these people. They're regurgitating the information from other people because for the last 12 years, it's been great. Buying into the stock market for the last 12 years up until last month was a good thing. It was a sure bet. And I don't think the market's going to bounce back as quick as they think it will. I think we're going to be in a situation for about 2 to 3 years. And this just, for all these fire people, because this couple that's like, we invested $5,000 and we're going to invest a lot more. I want to see if the market just plunges to where they have to come off of their money that they were living off their stock, and they have to get to their cash reserves and see if they still be investing. I'm looking for that video. Before the last recession, there was a store called Circuit City. Which companies today are going to be former companies due to this recession? That's a really good point, because it's you're going to see it on their balance sheets, because when you don't have money to pay employees, when you don't have money to keep operations going, that's going to come out. That's just going to come out. I mean, it's crazy. All right. So once you get into the right mindset, then you're going to scale the business. But you must build the business, have the business set up, and also have other things going on before you can scale. And one of the things, like, I watch a lot of videos of these drop shipping guys. All the drop shipping guys are doing these, quote, challenges, and they're inducing like how to get a bunch of money real quick versus let's build something that makes money for decades versus this fly by night money. It's very interesting. All right. So another thing we're going to talk about is the concentration and effort. Everyone's talking about diversifying. Now, look at me on this channel. I did not get into anything else until about 4 or 5 years. I started in 2009, 2010, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 2014, 13, that's when I started going in other directions. I built my base. I built my foundation. And I had only one product for most of those years. And I really focused and I hammered home, really hammered home. Yeah, virtual is where it is. Difference is those fire folks can go back to tech. You know what? For a lot of those people, that's going to be like a big punch in the gut if they have to stop living off their investments and go get a job. They have that option, but will they? I mean, once again, Erica, this is something that I have seen over and over again. Luxuries, once tasted, become necessities. You can have folks who are losing money in the stock market and they're going to need to get a job and they ain't going to do it. They're not going to do it. A friend of mine was telling me of a nurse who, she had a little health condition. She went to her doctor. She got a note and now she's on unemployment. She could work, but she don't want to work. So after being on fire for like 3, 4, 5 years, I think it's just going to be real hard for them to just go back to tech. I think there'll be some practical people who are like, look, I need to get a job, and they're going to go out and get a job. But I think some of them just going to be hard-headed, because I watch the videos and I see this exuberance and happiness. And for many of the folks who have YouTube channels, if they have to go out and get a job, that's going to be like, that's going to be, you know what? When the Kindle blew up, when so many writers were writing full time, they were making crazy money off Kindle, then Amazon changed everything and people saw their incomes reduce 75, 85%. A lot of these folks had to go back and get jobs. Man, it was a moment. So, I mean, they could have the option, but humans are a strange thing. Like the folks who broke, who needed to work an extra job but won't do it. I don't know what's up with humans. Highland Superstores were before Best Buy. Well, one of the reasons that Best Buy, did not go the way of Circuit City because Best Buy invested heavily into its online business. Best Buy sells most of it, a lot of stuff online, a lot of stuff. So this is why they're able to stay in business. Circuit City never made that move, and Circuit City just bit the dust. So you're going to see, because, I'm going to do a video on Savage Finance. I don't know which one I'm going to drop about the credit cards, because this is another thing. Like, for if you got a high credit limit and you don't have no emergency fund and you think you're going to be able to use your credit cards, you might be a person that these credit card companies, predictive software, may say you may be a risk, and you may wake up one day and all of your credit cards have been cut off, or your credit limits have been cut in half. Because these credit card companies went through this before. They already know what's going to happen. Chase, American Express, they started like 2 months ago. They started doing financial reviews and cramming down people's credit limits and cutting, because American Express, if they ask for you for a financial review and you don't do it, they're just going to cut your cards off instantly. They're going to cut all of them off. So I don't know which one I'm going to do, because there's so many topics to do. They're paying nurses to come out of retirement. Like I said, I just use this as a point that humans, there's what you should do, there's what you could do, but humans are like the folks who are broke but will not go out and work, or the folks who broke and won't work on the weekend because it's the weekend, baby. We got a party. Got a party. Got a party. Even though I'm broke, I'm not going to work because it's the weekend. Or it's the summer. I shouldn't have to work because it's the summer. I'm just saying, like, I've seen a lot of these fire people, and a lot of them, I'm just like, okay. Because you're going to see, because a lot of people's 401ks, like company matches, companies are reducing company matches now. And many people are finding, like a lot of people retired off the market, they're figuring they're going to have to go back to work. It's really, it's mean in these streets. GC, that's what happened to me when Facebook became a public traded company and decreased. Oh yeah, Facebook, they got rid of all organic reach. I mean, I had many profitable Facebook groups, and Facebook just changed they moved the cheese. They just moved the cheese. I don't know if fries. I haven't seen them. Yeah, Best Buy is on top of their game. Best Buy has good leadership, but Best Buy invested heavily into their online efforts, and that's why they're still in business. Kevin, is Radio Shack gone, Linen and things gone. I mean, it's going to get real out here. The mall is going to fall due to this. This is the final nail in the coffin. Yeah, because I feel like malls are only going to be in well-to-do neighborhoods, or they're going to be destination malls, like these outlet malls in the middle of nowhere. I think that's the only thing that's going to be there. Tracy, you're right about Chase and American Express. I had to update all my information, all the accounts I had with them. Oh, yeah, because see, this is why I'm like, you need to have cash, because you get yourself in a situation. Let's say you got $150,000 in credit cards, right? And you have no cash, and you get yourself loaded up. I guarantee you start using those credit cards heavily, because I'm going to tell you what happened with my Chase card. When I first got my Chase card, I got denied a lot. And I had to, because they would hit me on the phone and I'd have to reply, yes, it's me, then the charge would go through. And that card has had like multi-use. It's rare that I haven't gotten denied in about 2 years now. But my spending pattern is a high spending pattern on that card. And I pay it off like every week. I have not paid a lick in interest in it. So I'm not worried about my credit limit being crammed down, because I have a pattern of high spending. If you don't have a pattern of high spending and then you start spending a lot, I guarantee you they're going to shut you down. I guarantee you they're going to shut you down. And this is why you need to have cash. Power to Achieve in New York, they're hiring nurses for a minimum of $100 an hour. Oh yeah, they need nurses like crazy. But once again, everybody don't want to work. The potential. This chick's a nurse, and she like, I don't want to work. I'm gonna sit at home on my butt and get my unemployment. She don't want to work. Humans, man, humans. Paul Brown, that's hilarious. Christopher lies, yes. If you had $150,000 in open credit, and let's say you have $50,000 across your credit cards, and they cut your credit lines down to 75, yeah, that will adversely impact your credit score. Yes, it will. This is why I recommend that you don't carry a balance, that you use your credit cards judiciously. So there are many, many different things that are going on. But what I want you guys to understand is there are so many possibilities and opportunities out here, because once again, call me a fear monger. I think it's going to get worse before it's going to get better. It eventually will get better, but it ain't going to be no time soon. I'm predicting that we're going to go with this till May or June. And there's going to be so much carnage in the streets because of this. Because April's toast. April's already gone. It's like, hey, we're staying at home. We're going to keep these guidelines in for April. More layoffs, more. And then some people in April are going to be 2 months behind on their rent. That's going to be a problem. And Lord, if we spike in April, or if we don't spike, if we start spiking in May, guess what? Another 30 days. Another 30 days, man. And people just like, well, it's going to get better. It's going to be okay. Let's be positive. The reality is you can be positive if you got some money in the bank. You can be real positive then. But if you don't have no money in the bank and you out here struggling, it's about to get worse. Steve Jameson, rest in peace. Circus City, Sharper Image, Radio Shack. The list will soon be longer. Maybe Macy's, could be. JB Well, my credit score dropped 30 points when I paid off all my debts. Really? That's funny. That is funny. Steve Jameson, yeah, for the hustler nurses, yeah, they're gonna get that bread. But everybody ain't a hustler. Just cause you have the pop, like I guarantee you, because I am waiting to see what happens with these fire channels and these people. And I'm waiting for that video, Erica. Like, hey, I had to quit and go get me a job. I'm waiting for that vehicle. Because even if they quit living on fire and get a job, they probably won't talk about it in their video because they're going to look like not so successful. I seriously see, I'm waiting to see that video. I'm waiting to see that vehicle because my issue with the fire people is they make it sound so easy, but they don't like, well, first thing you need is a high income. There was a girl, she was 26, she saved $300,000 and she was talking about like, I live cheaply, I do this. And then in the end, it was like her $130,000 salary. Like that was it. If she didn't make $130,000, she wouldn't have had 300K in it saved up in investments. It was that $130,000 salary, not all these little frugal ways that did it. It was the $130,000 salary. JB Well, it's actually worse than that, Hustler. There's always a second or third wave of infections. The Spanish flu second wave was much worse. We could have lockdowns this fall. Pretty much. This is what I'm saying. It's going to get worse. In this notion of let's be all positive and reality. Well, I figure there's going to be at least a second stimulus check. I'm assuming. But all they're going to do is just print up more money. Well, one of the things I'm seeing is that they're putting these homeless in these vacant hotels because no one's staying in these hotels. These hotels are empty. There are many, many different things. But what I want you guys to do, because I'm going to start on this course and I'm going to be sending some more emails out to people and hustlers, kung fu, and I got to do that today. But hold on a second. All right, so this is the beta pricing for the money making course, the setup and foundation. It's $150, and once I start adding content there, I'm going to raise the price. So if you want it, go ahead and grab it now. I always get a whole bunch of people who, like a week or two later, after I raise the price, it was like, "Hey, can I still get it for 150?" And I'm like, "Why didn't you get it when it was 150? Why are you emailing me 2 weeks after the fact?" I just ignore them. I'm like, goodbye, because these people, they knew what it was. And I'm going to put a lot of stuff in here, and I'm going to have some live webinars with it. I got to get all that set up and written up today. But this is where you can ask me questions and we could talk about certain things, because I'm getting ready to get deeper into my training, much deeper. Because this is why I sent my girlfriend home, because I got so much work to do. Because she was just like, I want attention. I was like, I got things to do, because like I said in my video, this is the time to get rich, but you got to put in the work. If I knew what I know now in 2009, I would have started 10 YouTube channels. If I had a clue, and I understand what's going on, because I'm getting ready to start some YouTube channels. And for those of you in the YouTube course, another section is going to drop this week, because we're about to be training up folks, because a lot of folks at home, and this is the time you need to be acquiring new skills. You need to involve yourself in an online course. You need to be reading books. If you don't want to read, you should be listening to Audible. You should be skilling yourself up, getting new skills, because eventually we will get beyond this. But I just think it's going to be more months than most people think it's going to be. But we will get past this, and you can come out of this much better, in a better situation, with more money, with more skill sets, more opportunities, new mindsets. Because this isn't the time to be just sitting at home watching television bored. You should be in school. You should treat this like I'm going to university, man. So the link is below. Go ahead and get it. And I will see you guys later.